Yo, what up?
Again.
Yo, I thought I was
I'm
supposed
sorry.
to
Go
do the
ahead.
intro. What you doing, man?
How come you always do the intro?
That's a great question.
That is a
man.
great
That's
question.
I think we never really.
We should unpack that.
We should maybe the next episode.
Okay.
What's up, man? It's your boy e.daniels. I'm sitting here with the young gun.
Davier Lamar. I kind of like that.
Why?
You know, when I first started coming out with music and stuff, I debated if I wanted to be Davier Lamar, but then I was like, there's a Kendrick Lamar, and then that's weird.
You know, you probably should have did that.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
probably
know.
got some more CD sales or.
I don't know. I
streams.
kind of just like the one name Davier.
like Prince.
Yeah, and then it also forces people to like say my name correctly too. I feel like if I
How many pronunciations of your names have you heard?
it's a lot.
Davier.
Davier, Davier, Davier. I had somebody
Davier.
call me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've gotten better though at like correcting people. So
Was that hard at first?
it was because naturally I'm not a confrontational person. So I would be like, if it's close, then
That's
yeah,
okay.
but
But now he's like, no, say my name. Say it the right way.
yeah, because there are other names that people can say pretty effortlessly.
Sure.
And so I'm like, Schwarzenegger, how y'all just pronouncing that?
What's the name? ABCDE.
Absidy.
Absidy.
Yeah, that was-
Yes.
Yeah.
Absidy. Absidy. How you spell it? ABCDE.
Yeah. Or Ladasha.
You don't know about it. Stop that.
Well, I don't personally know Ladasha, but I know people who know Ladasha, and it's L-A like
Dash?
dash.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What?
It's
Wow.
yeah, it's interesting. I remember I had a teacher who said they didn't actually do this, but they talked about like if you spell somebody's name and it's like DQXYZ, but the pronunciation is John.
That doesn't make
I
sense.
was like, but technically you could do that.
How does that make sense?
It doesn't, but like you could technically.
How did we start talking about this?
I don't know.
This has
I don't know.
nothing
I'm
to
sorry.
do.
Do what you was about to do.
I did the whole, hey, what up, miss? Welcome to the
sorry.
podcast.
I'm
blah,
sorry.
blah, and
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
you got an affirmation for us to start?
I do. I saw I saw a quote.
Okay, come
And
on.
it's actually
Cody.
it's funny because it goes kind of in line with what you've been talking a lot about with Joseph. But it says the fruits of achievement can never be greater than the roots of preparation and persistence.
Wow, say that again. That's pretty decent.
The fruits of achievement can never be greater than the roots of preparation and persistence.
Wow, that's a pretty decent quote.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you prepare well?
I do. I think sometimes I prepare because I want to do things in excellence, but I think there's also a part of me that prepares out of anxiety,
Oh,
where it's like I'm going to make sure that I'm super duper prepared,
yeah.
so that like I feel better going into a situation.
Has there ever been a time where you were like unprepared for a particular thing and you had to get up and do something?
Yeah, that's happened a few times.
Yeah.
I think because I can wing things pretty well.
Yeah.
And I think if I'm not careful, sometimes I can depend on that too much. Just being like, yeah, I can just get up here and
Just go ahead and just do
just
it.
wing it,
Yeah, just
right?
do it.
And yeah, I think there was a time where it didn't serve me well, and I was like, yeah, this isn't the way.
You know what I realized? So
What's up?
I did your graduation, your high school graduation,
You did.
right? And that was the first time I was like really, really nervous.
Really?
So I walked up on stage, and you're sitting in the auditorium,
Yeah.
but you can't see behind you.
Right.
I'm not looking
Right.
at the audience. So I'm like, I'm cool. I'm gonna get up there. I'm confident. I can
Yeah.
kill this quick 10, 15-minute speech.
Yeah.
I got up there. I say, yo, there's so many people in here.
Yeah.
What if I mess up?
Yeah. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't think I ever told you that.
Yeah.
That was weird.
It's funny though, because I feel like, and I'm sure people have said this to you too, when after you do something like that, it's like, oh my gosh, you did so well, but they wouldn't know that like
No,
all those things went on behind the scenes.
no.
Yeah.
I got a dad joke.
Do you?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's hear it. Let's see.
Now, are you saying that because you already know they're gonna stink?
No, I believe in you.
Do you really?
I really do.
All right, I got.
I really do.
I got two.
Okay.
All right. So I'll just say it.
Okay.
What's blue and doesn't weigh much?
What is blue and doesn't weigh much? What?
Light blue.
Light.
Light blue. That was good.
That was good. I wasn't expecting that. That was good.
All right. Here's my second one. This is my second one. What did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet?
What did
The setup. What did the
Okay.
let me set it up again.
Please?
Let me pull the mic close.
Yeah.
What did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet?
What did he say?
Supplies.
Oh gosh. So, like surprise.
Surprise,
Yeah,
yes.
but it's
But he said
supplies because he's a janitor.
He's a
Wow.
janitor, and he manages the supplies.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Wow.
you like
I would
that
say I would give you a B plus. Actually, I'll say an A minus. The light blue joke was
The light blue was that hit.
That pulled
That
it
hit.
up.
That hit.
That was good.
So,
that was good.
Have you ever heard a dad joke that was an A plus dad joke?
An A plus dad joke. I think so. Actually, it was at the
men's thing.
the Father's Day
Father's
breakfast.
Day breakfast. That was a classic.
That was. I'm trying to see if I
I
remember
don't
it.
remember it verbatim, but it was
So
you remember it?
I think so. It was like it's a young man and he's about to go to church.
Yeah.
And so he's talking to
His mom. Yeah.
and he's like, "Man, I really don't want to go today. They bully me, they torment me, they call me names." And the mom is like, "You gotta go. You the youth pastor.
You're the
What
youth
you mean?"
pastor.
All right. A son came to his mother and was like, "I don't want to go to children's church today. They keep ridiculing me. They keep teasing me. They keep making fun of me." And the mom said, "But you're the youth pastor. You gotta go."
But it's like he's being bullied by these kids. Yeah, that's probably the best dad joke I've. And the crazy thing about that is like that was made up.
It was
like
made
a part
off
of
the cuff.
it was a Father's Day breakfast. A part of the game was for each table to come up with their own dad joke.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
like somebody came up with that, and I was like, that's very impressive.
That was a decent Father's Day brunch thingy.
It was.
Breakfast? That was breakfast.
Breakfast, brunch, yeah, it was one
What is brunch?
It's breakfast and lunch.
So you can have like bacon, eggs, and hamburgers and hot dogs?
I mean, yeah. Well, I think brunch is.
Is it the time of
I was
day?
about to say,
or
yeah.
just,
It's yeah.
I never
it's the
understood
time.
that. Like even
Yeah.
if I go to brunch, I'm still getting like waffles.
And you have that right because it's breakfast or
Oh,
brunch.
you can make a choice.
Yeah.
Do you ever what's your favorite like meal of the day? Like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and like what would it be?
That's a
With
good
that
question.
cheese?
It might be breakfast.
Sweet, savory? This tells a lot about your character if you the way you answer this question.
Wait, what do I like my breakfast sweet
Or savory. Yeah, it tells a lot about your character.
I mean, am I limited to sweet or can I do a sweet and?
No, it has to be sweet or savory. Which one do you like best? Or what is your if you had to make your meal for
Right.
breakfast? Like, hey, this is what I want for breakfast. This is what I'm
It would probably be sweet because I would probably do some French toast, some bacon,
What type of bacon?
but the bacon would be candied.
bacon. Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
and
That's with sugar on it.
it is a little bit of sugar
Little pepper.
and some
Little
pepper.
black pepper. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably would be and maybe some eggs.
Scrambled with cheese.
Scrambled with cheese.
Is there any other way to eat eggs?
To me, there isn't.
Like over
I know
easy?
other people do other things. Do you do anything else?
I've tried it once. I went to I think it was Sabrina's Cafe, and I had one of those bowls
Yeah.
where you have like potatoes and all
Right.
this other stuff on top, and then the egg. I don't know what it's called, but like the egg. Like they just put the egg on top of the meal,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah,
was eating like it was like
How it
was
wasn't
runny.
It wasn't good.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't try that. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my scrambled eggs.
You know what I wish we had, and we talked about this before, like having like sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think we should be sponsored by like Chick-fil-A.
I agree.
Yeah. How do we get Chick-fil-A to come visit?
I had they have this new, I don't know if it's still out, but it's a Chick-fil-A sandwich with the I don't even know what it is, like a pasta cheese kind of thing.
But you had to add bacon.
I do add bacon.
Did y'all see?
I do add bacon to that. So when I first tried it, I was driving somewhere, and it was a long trip. Yeah. Actually, I was coming. I think it was when we were in the Poconos. I think I was driving to you. Yeah. Yep. So it was a long trip, like 2 hours, and I'm driving, and I'm also eating the sandwich.
You can't do that. You had to pull over
at a red light. Like I would stop and then eat the sandwich. And I almost pulled over because it was that good. Wow. I was like, I can't wait to finish this. Wow. Like I gotta eat it all. Wow. Right? Yeah, it was like it was very, very, very good.
It was surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Like I had it I did have it after either you or somebody else posted on Instagram. I was like, let me try this. And I said, this is a winner.
It was very good.
You ever wonder why they had that whole back and forth with Chick-fil-A? What others? Popeyes.
I mean, the whole debate with the chicken sandwich, but I always felt like Chick-fil-A's chicken sandwich was better.
It's consistent.
Yeah. I felt like Popeye. I mean, it's good, but I think they benefited from the hype.
It's a lot of hype.
It's kind of like in sports.
Don't do that.
You know, what you mean don't do that? You don't even know where I'm going.
Where you going?
I'm saying when you have like a player he's been doing this for 5 to 10 years, okay, and then you have somebody else come in.
Who's the player you're talking about?
I'm not thinking of anybody in particular. I'm just
who's the first player that comes to mind when you make that comment?
I mean, I feel like there's an elephant in the room that we should address.
There are no elephants unless you talk about me.
No.
You're trying to call me husky. You're calling me husky.
I'm not. I'm saying you have a certain hoodie on.
I do have a hoodie on, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if the viewers can fully see it.
Oh, they see it.
Oh, okay.
Because, listen, I'm unapologetic.
There you go. Yeah. It's a Cowboys hoodie if you can't tell.
The capital C.
Yeah. We happen to be Cowboys fans.
Oh, so you're talking about that player from me that I like the most.
No, not necessarily, but we can talk. We can talk about that.
No.
Oh, okay.
Go to your point.
No, I was just saying, like, we're actually just having this conversation, with a few people, and talking about like how do you compare somebody who's like been doing something for I don't know. This is just a random number, maybe like 8 years, 8 or 9 years.
8 or 9 years.
That number just came to me.
Yeah.
And then there's somebody else who's maybe been doing it for a year or two.
Because he was hurt.
And he's had some success, right? But it's been a year. And we were talking about how we remember a time where there was somebody else who had a year, and then
you know what?
Yeah.
Speak on it.
And right now I think he's God bless him, but he's looking for employment. I think at the time.
You know what? You let me down.
How's that?
I've never there are things that I'm sharing I've never shared with you before.
Really?
I feel so comfortable in this space.
I know where you're going.
I feel very comfortable in this chair. Maybe it's a chair.
Maybe.
So these chairs I use when I do counseling. Now I know what this feels like.
That's it.
Sitting in this chair.
That's
you
it.
Want to talk.
Yeah.
So there are 2 times.
Yeah.
When you were younger, I put you in football.
You did.
You remember that?
I do.
You were a pretty decent quarterback.
I was.
And you played defensive end.
I was.
Yeah. So I showed up to the games. I mean, you was killing it.
Yeah.
I remember there was one time I went to pick you up for a game.
Sure.
Do you remember the story?
I don't remember exactly where you're going.
I'm going to tell you. I went to pick you up for a game, and the coach called me and said, "Hey, is your son all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's good. I'm picking him up now."
Yeah.
He didn't come to practice all week.
Oh, right. I do.
And I got there, man, and I yelled at you like, "What?" And he's like, "Hey, that's bad parenting. Number one. How come you didn't go to practice?"
Yeah.
Like,
I do remember that.
He's like, "Well, I don't like practice."
Yeah.
But you said you like the games.
Yeah. That is what I said. You know what's funny thinking about that now and like in doing what I do? I'm a therapist, and getting into like psychology and stuff. Because during that time, my favorite athlete was Allen Iverson. The first game that
sense.
you ever took me to was a Sixers game, the CAI.
I remember that.
So he became like my favorite player, and literally every day on YouTube, I would watch his practice rant, which makes sense. When at the same time I was playing football, and I never wanted to practice. So if you want to blame somebody,
I'm not blaming
blame
Allen Iverson. I'm blaming the fact that I invested. You owe me money.
Do I?
Yes,
I got you.
I bought pads and helmets and cleats.
It was a great year.
I think you played for like.
It was a great year.
You didn't play the whole season.
I played the whole season.
Are you sure?
I played the whole season for sure. I finished the season. Oh. But yeah, after that, then that's when I transitioned to basketball, which that
my other thing.
Yeah,
because I had a lot of investment in you because of basketball.
You did.
Remember the summer I sent you to?
But that's not. I feel like I came. I mean, unless you were expecting me to go to the NBA.
I was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
I was expecting.
That's your expectations.
Go overseas. Because the way I would talk about you, how good you were.
Sure.
I was like, oh man, buckets.
Sure.
Yeah, I was expecting you to go overseas or something. You know, come back and put us up in a big old house. Really? So we had to work for the rest of our lives.
Wow.
You did none of that.
I didn't. Yeah. I didn't. But I did have an opportunity to play in college.
You did. But you had to turn it down because you get the scholarship.
I did. Yeah. It was
that makes up a little bit for it.
Yeah, it was a situation. Yeah. So I went to Eastern University, which is a D3 school. Mm-hmm. But I also was coming to school with a full tuition scholarship.
You can have both.
Right? Praise the Lord. With D3.
Did you say praise the Lord?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, full tuition scholarship. Praise the Lord. What you mean? But with D3, if you know about D3, they can't pay players to come and play. Yeah. Which wasn't the case. No. But on the outside looking in, it could look that way. So they were like, listen, this is a risk we don't want to take. We want you to play, but either you play and we give you other scholarships that wouldn't cover your tuition, or you don't play and you get full tuition. And that was probably one of the easier decisions I've made. I mean, it hurt because I really did want to play. I really did.
Did you think about me when you said no?
I did.
Did you really?
I did. I mean, because you know how like you and mom saved for college, so I figured that would help.
That would help.
You know, you didn't. There was no tuition.
It did help, but you still owe me money.
I got you.
No. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
You remember the year you were in the 11th grade?
PGC.
I sent you to point guard.
PGC camp. Point guard camp.
What college was that? Townsend.
Was it?
Townsend
University.
Yeah, it was in Maryland. It was in Maryland. I left church early.
Did you?
Yes. Remember that?
I don't remember that part.
I'm telling you. Okay. I left church early. We got in the car.
Yeah.
Drove 2 hours.
It was a long drive.
Take you to Townsend to point guard camp.
But I'm saying the investment. So you would have rather me turn down a full tuition scholarship to play in college? Is that what you're saying?
That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you came back the next year, and maybe because you're a coach.
Okay.
I expected you to have just another level of like.
But I'm saying the other level, like I had the opportunity to play in college.
You did.
Yeah.
And I highlight that. Great job.
You're saying that wasn't enough.
That wasn't enough.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. I see.
We could have been somewhere chilling right now. How old are you? 24?
24. I got some other things planned.
Do you?
I got you. I promise.
Listen, man.
I promise.
As long it's on video, it's tape.
It is. I
appreciate you, man. I got a question for you because I was reading the article and it kind of messed me up though because they were talking about 3 phases of father and son relationship.
Yeah.
And I begin to wonder, like how do you even interpret some of these phases? And the first phase the guy talked about was how the son idolizes the father.
Yeah.
That was phase 1. Phase 2 was how the son demonizes the father. You gonna say a little comment? You gonna wait for that one?
No, I mean, I'm gonna just
okay.
I'm wait till you finish.
And the last one, how the son humanizes the father.
Yeah.
And like when I first saw it, I was like, the first thing that stuck out to me.
Sure.
The demonize.
The second one.
What? Yeah. But then when he began to unpack it, I was like, I wonder how much that exists in like father-son relationship where the son begins to look at his dad and say, man, you're the reason I'm this way, or you should have done better, or I wish I would have had this as a kid.
Yeah.
But you didn't, and then I resent you. But then they move to that space where you begin to humanize your parents and say, wow, man, they're just people just like I am. They make mistakes.
Yeah.
So like how have you like had to identify with some of those spaces?
Yeah, I think they really all work together. Like even starting with idolizing. I mean, I tell you this all the time, but like you've always been my hero.
Oh, can I kiss you?
Right? We got too much space in between us. So yeah, I would say yes, but there's so much space in between us. I mean, I've even told you the story. I remember growing up, probably the most asked question to kids is, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I remember my answers to those questions. I think the first thing I said was I wanted to be in the Army, which I know you got some thoughts about that. But and then I said I wanted to, be a police officer, work in law enforcement. And then I said I wanted to be in ministry, be a pastor.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I got older that I realized that those answers just mirrored your life.
Sure, yeah.
Right? Like you being in the service, then working in a prison, and then going into full-time ministry. So the answer to that question was always, I just want to be like my dad.
Yeah.
Right? So I think there's so much truth to the idolization part of that. But yeah, I think that almost sets people up for the next stage because you're on such a pedestal, right? I see you as like this perfect person. So when there's disappointment, it's like earth shattering.
Yeah.
Because it's like, wait, this is Superman.
Sure.
Like Superman doesn't bleed. He doesn't fail. So when things would come up and tensions and disagreements, it would be like, it's almost like a reorientation of like, all right, now I have to reconsider all the things that I thought I knew. Yeah. Now I have to relearn something else. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely think there's truth to that. And and me feeling like, and I also think there's something to, you as a man, me, in those teenage years thinking I'm a grown man, right? Like there's natural tension that comes up with male egos, all those things.
But my greatest fear was
what's that?
That you would replace me. Yeah.
Interesting.
Like when we would have moments where we didn't see eye to eye.
Yeah.
And I think when you begin to see that I'm not perfect, I thought in my mind, man, he's looking for someone else to find this perfect picture of a man, and at some point I'll be replaced. Wow. Like I'll always be your dad.
Yeah.
But like being someone's hero is completely different. Like you can have a dad who's present, but then you have people who you like, man, I want to be like this person. Sure. So like, I think for me, the pressure of always trying to live up to the expectation that I placed on myself for you was like, it was just weighty at times. I'll never forget this one time. You were probably, I don't know, 9 or 10, maybe younger. I think you know what I'm going to say. I think so.
I have an idea.
You're with me for the weekend, and we were doing something like, I want to go home. I was like, what? I just got you, man. What you mean? And I'm trying to create all of these things. We can go this. We can do this. I'm going to buy you this. I'm like, man, like, I just want to go home. Yeah. And I was like, all right, I'm going to take you home then. I'm all upset. But then I began to think, like, every time we would have, and granted, our life, we've had so many life transitions together. Yeah. But every time that there was a disagreement in my mind, I'm playing back that I don't want to be here.
I just want to go home.
I just want to go home.
Yeah.
I had to go to counseling for that.
I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
I was seeing that bill. That was like $3,000. So
that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
No, but how do you look at that though?
Yeah, I get it. I think that goes into even that last part of humanizing is now for me as an adult, and I feel like the humanizing started. Honestly, it probably within the last few years, right? Of like walking into adulthood, going through my own stuff and realizing my own humanity and just people are people. Yeah. People make mistakes. I think I had to realize that like you're a person just like I am. Like you have flaws just like I do. And that I would rather have someone who recognizes that and is always striving to be a good example, to be a good role model than someone who just tries to keep up the perception of perfection. Yeah. One of my favorite quotes from one of our favorite people, Craig Groeschel, he always talks about people would rather follow a leader who's always real than one who's always right.
Always right, yeah.
So I think because I started to realize that, Yeah, the ups, the downs, the mistakes, like you're always real. And I would much rather prefer that than just always trying to be right. So,
but yeah, I feel like that humanizing space has really helped us like navigate like relationally.
Yeah,
I think, and I think I realized when it started to click within both of us. You said it was a couple years ago.
Yeah,
but I think for me, like, I think I've always had. I think fathers always have expectation of their kids, because they want their kids to be better versions of themselves.
Sure.
But I think when I begin to realize like the pressure that you face every day,
sure,
of like being a pastor's son or maybe an artist's son, and like that spotlight is like, man, I didn't ask for that.
Yeah.
I think so when I started to realize like, yo, he's under just as much pressure as I am. Like I started to like come back just a little. Well, I still have expectations, but I dialed it back a little bit because I never knew what that was like. I didn't know it was like growing up in a space where the expectation that you placed on yourself was so great that you feel like you had to live up to that thing consistently every day. You're walking in someone's shoes, like, man, this is just too great for me. So I think it helped me to like view you differently, to see you differently, to extend more grace in certain spaces, and also like be just really honest. I think I'll never forget, man. One of the most transparent conversations we had. We were in the grass, cutting grass.
I remember that.
You have a good memory. Thank you for that. We were cutting grass, and you were just really, really honest.
Yeah.
And it was like, first I had to step back because first I'm always in my head, and we're like in this space where anytime there's critique, we always look inward, and we don't listen with the intent to say, man, I'm just sorry.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, I'm the worst person on the planet. So it took me a minute to like navigate the space, even as a dad. It's like, man, did I just blow it? And that whole concept of you being an 8-year-old, I'm gonna go home. I'm done. I'm gonna go home. So yeah, I think walking through some of those spaces, those hard conversations that we had to like walk through and like navigate, I think they helped us fortify ourselves and stay.
Yeah.
Like I think there are things that I'm committed to, and one of the things that I've always wanted you to know is that like I'm committed to you.
Yeah.
Like our relationship, I'm committed to. Like that's important to me, right? And I'm hoping that like fathers and with their sons can like have these conversations to show like, hey, I may not be perfect, but I'm committed. I'm committed to you, in whatever way that looks like. Like I think it helped me like knowing that I didn't have to buy you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like when there was a mistake made, I gotta go buy you some sneaks, or I gotta go buy this stuff. This will make up for it. Yeah. But just to sit and have a conversation like, hey, this is where I am, and I'm sorry. Yeah. You remember the first time I said I was sorry to you, or I was wrong?
That's a good question. I don't remember the first time. I mean, I remember moments.
Yeah.
But what are you thinking of specific?
It was hard to do.
Yeah.
Like it was hard to me, for me as a dad and as a man and as an alpha male, to admit to your son or your child that, yo, I was wrong. I probably shouldn't have handled that differently.
Yeah. What's interesting even about that conversation that you're talking about in the grass, I remember that, and like that was a difficult conversation for me to initiate.
I remember
it was probably I knew I wanted to talk about it for like weeks before I actually did.
Yeah.
And the context of it was I was at school. I think I was at Eastern. It might have been the pandemic, I think, maybe. Because I came home because I lived on campus, and I came home, and I think when I left for college, there were a lot of unresolved things that I just never talked to you about.
Yeah, yeah. And
I just thought, all right, I got these, 3 or 4 years to have some space, I'm a be fine, now that we don't got to be together all the time. But what I realized is just that I just allowed it to fester.
Yeah.
That it never went away. It just built up, right? It's why we always talk about with bitterness, unresolved issues just grow into bitterness, right? So I think it was growing into bitterness, and then me being back home was kind of like another, I don't know, I guess shock, because now the things that I was used to being able to ignore kind of out of sight, out of mind, because it's like I'm at college, I'm not home, they were in my face again.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, like I had a decision, In the same way that you're saying like you're committed to me, I knew that I was committed to you. So it's like, do I just allow this to sit and just always have this festering thing, or do we just talk about it? And I got to a place where just talked, and it was honest. And it wasn't to like say, you know, that you did a bad job. It was just for us to have a moment where we could be transparent, share, and really I think it bonded us. Right?
I think so. Closer. We I think after that, I think we begin to have like more kind of what I call those heart-to-heart moments, like where, conversations that weren't always the easiest, but they were always needful.
Yeah,
and like always checking on your heart, like, how you doing? How am I doing in the space? Like, is this working for us? Right?
Yeah,
I thought it was great, man. I got one question for you. It's off topic.
Yeah,
when you think about Crocs, we're gonna end with this.
Crocs. I'm a big fan of Crocs.
Are you really?
I am. I was skeptical at first.
I have a second question. I want you to follow it up, but answer the question. What are those things that you put in the Crocs? Fidgets? Bidgets?
I don't think it's that one. I don't think it's the second one.
What is it?
Is it? I don't know. Wait, on the Crocs or in the Crocs?
The little buttons.
Like stickers?
No, not stickers. They're like little.
I don't know. I don't have things on my Crocs.
I just ordered some. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to get your perspective.
So you got like.
They're Dallas Cowboy.
Oh, okay.
So I just ordered some new Crocs. They're navy blue.
Okay.
Right? Because these are they're getting a little old.
Yeah.
So I got some navy blue Crocs, and I got the little cowboy joints I'm going to put on it because I saw somebody with it, and I said,
and you liked it.
I think I should do that. And I'm thinking about wearing them like on a Sunday morning.
You should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think the response is going to be?
I mean, I think you've worn, you talking about like wearing Crocs, or that it's Dallas
Crocs.
Cowboys?
The Crocs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think people would maybe be thrown off at first, but you know, at the same time, I don't know a lot of other pastors that like wear hoodies and
I do wear
gold
hoodies.
chains, and
I don't always wear those.
And Jordans, and
there are a lot of pastors who wear Jordans.
Tattoos, and
now you're just going overboard. You know, it's crazy. I remember mom asked me this question. She said, "Are you having like a midlife crisis?" Because I
thought that a time or two.
Did you really?
Maybe.
Like, I waited until I was over 35 years old to get my first tattoo. I got earrings now.
We're twins.
We are twins.
We're twins.
We're twins.
Yeah.
I went and got my ears pierced, got tattoos.
You got a motorcycle?
I have a motorcycle. I'm out here living my best life.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
and
fun.
And as Amaris would say, I love that for you.
I love that for you. I love that statement.
I love that.
I found myself saying that. I was like, wait, that sounds just like Amaris.
Yeah. There are certain things that I question if I should say. Like Amanda, my sister, your daughter, they say like it's giving, like when, right? Have you heard that statement?
That's crossing the line.
Don't try to play me right now.
I won't
like
do
you know
say
when
that?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. But like when I'm trying to think of an example. Like, all right, so you're up there preaching, and you got on a hoodie, a jean jacket. Someone might say it's giving like youth pastor because you look like a youth pastor, but they would say like that's what it's giving. So there are certain things that I'm like, I may not catch on to that phrase because I don't know, I would be conflicted.
Yeah, I don't want to give it or it's giving.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but I love that for you. I do say
that's okay.
That's
okay. That and they're eating it up. You ate it up.
Oh yeah, you ate that.
You ate. I'm not eating that.
You ate that.
I'm okay.
Yeah, I need more specificity in that.
Yeah,
you.
There are a lot of things. There are a lot of things out there, and you get the wrong caption, the wrong person. They're like, what did you just eat? Like, I want to know, where's it at?
On that note, that's probably a good place to.
That's a good place to stop. Listen, man, thank you guys again for tuning in to episode 2.
Yes, sir.
The Lion's Den. It's your boy E.daniels with the Young Gun.
Davier. See y'all.